Hello everyone, I am Farhana Sheikh this side. In this video, I'll give you a brief introduction and history of RAD. Firstly, RAD is an abbreviation for Rapid Application Development. The RAD model is based on prototyping and iterative development of software product with no specific planning involved. Now being said that, I want you to visualize one scenario here. When you are building a skyscraper or any kind of building, you can't switch up the design halfway through. You need to follow the original path from start to its finish. But when you are building a software product, that is not the case. You can change the design, add the functionalities, remove things you don't want, all without harming the end product. That's a major reason why software needs good development models to be efficient from design to its launch. Rapid application development was introduced for this purpose only, to develop the prototypes rapidly, for testing the functions and features without having to worry about how the end product will be affected. In general, RAD approaches to software development put less emphasis on planning and more emphasis on an adaptive process. Prototypes are often used in addition to or sometimes even in the place of design specifications. Now coming towards the history of RAD, Rapid Application Development was a response to plan-driven waterfall processes which were developed in 1970s and 1980s. The traditional plan-driven approaches attempt to rigidly define the requirements, the solution, the plan to implement it, and have a process that discourages the changes. On the other hand, RAD approach recognizes that software development is a knowledge-intensive process and provide flexible processes that help take advantage of knowledge gained during the project to improve or adapt the solutions. The first such RAD alternative was developed by Barry Boehm, and it was known as a spiral model basically. Starting with the idea of Barry Boehm and others, James Martin developed the rapid application development approach during the 1980s at IBM, and later he finalized it by publishing a book in 1991, which was called as Rapid Application Development. This has resulted in some confusion over the term RAD even among the IT professionals. It is important to distinguish between RAD as a general alternative to waterfall model and RAD as a specific method created by Martin. The Martin method was tailored toward knowledge-intensive and UI-intensive business systems. Therefore, the software projects which can be broken into modules can use the RAD models. When you look at this James Martin approach to RAD method, which divides the process into 4 distinct phases. Phase 1 is the requirements planning phase, which combines the elements of the system planning and systems analysis phases of the system development lifecycle. Users, managers, and IT professionals, other members discuss and agree on business needs, project scope, constraints, and the system requirements. It ends when the team agrees on the key issues and obtain the management to continue with the next phase. Phase 2 basically user design, or sometimes it is called as prototype phase. During this phase, users interact with the system and the develop models and prototypes that represent all the processes, the inputs, the outputs, and all the subsequent processes. The RAD groups or the subgroups typically use the combination of joint application development techniques and other case tools to translate user needs into the working models. User design is a continuous interactive process that allows the users to understand, then modify, and eventually approve a working model of the system that meets their needs. Now coming towards the phase 3, that is the construction phase, which focuses on program and application development tasks similar to the SDLC. However, in RAD, users continues to participate and can still suggest changes or improvements as actual screens or reports are developed. Its tasks are programming and application development, coding, unit integration, and system testing, black box testing, white box testings. Fourth phase is nothing but cutover phase, which resembles the final task in the SDLC, which is the implementation phase, including the data conversion, the testing, change over to the new system, and user trainings. Compared with the traditional methods, the entire process is compressed. As a result, the new system is built and delivered and placed in operation much sooner. Now, these ideas which were proposed by Barry and James Martin were further developed and improved upon the RAD pioneers, and these practitioners along with the like-minded people helped RAD gain popularity as an alternative to traditional systems project lifecycle approaches. The RAD approach also matured during the period of peak interest in business reengineering. The idea of business reengineering was to radically rethink core business processes such as sales and customer support with the new capabilities of information technology in mind. RAD was often an essential part of larger businesses reengineering programs, and the rapid prototyping approach of RAD was a key tool to help the users and analysts think out of the box about innovative ways that technology might radically reinvent a core business processes. And that's it, guys. This is the brief about RAD approach for software development and the history, how it is actually came into picture in 1980s. In the next lecture, we shall study the matured version of RAD model, how the block diagram look like, what are the phases comprises the RAD model, what are the advantages, disadvantages of RAD model, and when to use the RAD model, the comparison between other models with the RAD model, we shall study in the next lecture. That's it, guys. Thank you so much.